Hello everyone, how is it going? I hope you are doing well. Welcome back to this episode. In this episode, we are going to dive into the experience of pain and suffering, something we've all encountered of same point in our lives, whether physical or emotional. It is a universal experience that connects us all. To make this conversation a bit more engaging, I'd like to ask you a few simple questions about pain and suffering that many of us face. Let's reflect on them together. What do you think it is the most difficult type of pain to endure? How do you usually cope when you are in pain, whether it is physical or emotional? Do you believe suffering has a purpose in life? And how do you think pain shapes the way we see the world? Let's start the podcast. At the first, we talk about pain and suffering, and at the end of the podcast, we will talk about the new words. Pain and suffering are a part of life. Suffering threatens us in three ways: through the body, which we know we will lose and eventually decay; through the external world, which we know is beyond our control and unpredictable, and this terrifies us deeply; and through our relationships with others. This suffering may be the greatest and most difficult form of suffering. We are people who turn pains into years-long suffering. The phrase "people cause suffering and life is suffering" is not an accurate or realistic statement. The truth is that we feel pain. Life can be painful. But suffering is the result of our evidence of feeling the pain. Pain is precisely what opposes our desires. The desires to have something we cannot obtain. For example, we desire that everyone likes us and treats us very well, but when that doesn't happen, it is painful. We wish to stay young, but this is not everlasting, or we wish not to be alone, but we are alone right now. In fact, pain is what we don't desire, something we want now, but the world doesn't respond as we wish. This confrontation with reality and its conflict with our desires is called pain. And we are always exposed to this pain. However, the way we respond to pain is not always correct. Sometimes we turn pain into deep and long-lasting suffering, distancing ourselves from truly feeling life again, thinking that life is nothing but suffering. When a relationship ends, we feel pain, but a person can choose to turn it into endless suffering. And strangely, being in suffering seems more familiar to us. Suffering are actually personal way we buy time for ourselves to avoid facing a painful reality. Therefore, suffering is nothing but our escape from confronting the pain we are experiencing. A person who leads several relationships they believe are romantic places themselves in deep suffering because they don't want to face the pain of how much they fear intimacy, or how powerless they are against rejection, or how passively they enter relationships that they are not lasting. Endings are painful, and seeing the truth within ourselves is also painful. For example, grieving any type of loss is pain. Feeling sorrow is painful, but impersing sorrow and delaying feeling, this is suffering. And the way of delaying, it's personal and different for each individual. There is only one way to move forward in life: acceptance of pain and passing through it. In fact, it is after understanding our emotion that healing begins from within. And the next morning, we will find other reasons to trust life once again and follow with it. Now let's learn some new words in this passage. Suffering, the mental or emotional pain we experience due to unmet desire or difficult situation. Threat, something that can cause harm or danger. Control, the ability to manage or direct something. Definition, the meaning or explanation of something. Escape, running away, or avoiding something, usually pain or difficult situation. Passively, doing something without resistance. Healing, the process of becoming healthy or whole again after injury or emotional pain. Life, the experience of being alive. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If this listening podcast is useful for you, don't forget to subscribe me and share this podcast with your friends. Up to next video. Bye bye.